Hey guys, what is going on? Randall419, the man with the million, bringing you another video. This time, not an impression video or a review. This is going to be more of an opinion piece on something I saw today, and I immediately thought, I need to make a video about this, right? Because this is going to about Sony versus Microsoft, about how they advertise their product to people. And this is something I've talked about on TXR podcasts recently, about how Sony tends to go about things and how Microsoft tends to go about things. So Sony released their new ad today, right? Their new holiday ad. It's November 13th. It aired on the NFL games. It's on YouTube. You can go and check it out. I'll leave a link in the description for anybody that wants to check it out, right? I posted something on Twitter which a lot of people agreed with, some people disagreed with. In this ad, right, they use the whole greatness awaits things. It's a live action thing similar to how they started on the PS3, where some guy who's, you know, in his real life is like looking for adventure and he's in the game worlds. Well, this one is this king in a country and he leaves to go find adventure. Essentially a similar thing. So I was interested in what they were going to do, and yeah, he goes off on this thing with Call of Duty. I mean, to be fair, they own the rights to the Call of Duty marketing. Biggest game of the year, I would expect them to use that. But what was interesting more along the lines was what they used afterwards, okay? They used, they showed him interacting with, like, the robotic hunter dog from Horizon Zero Dawn and the main protagonist from that, and I thought to myself, well, that's kind of weird because it is a holiday ad. This is November. This is the ad you'll be playing now and, you know, in the future going into like December and stuff, but like you can't buy Horizon Zero Dawn yet. That game doesn't come out until like February 28th, which might as well be March, right? So I'm like, that seems kind of weird. Like, okay, I'm like, are this Last Guardian going to be in there? Because that comes out in December, or Gravity Rush 2. And then I was like, you know, and I keep on watching the video, and sure enough, there's Spider-Man swinging through live action. I'm like, wait a minute. This is an Insomniac game, Spider-Man, right? Which, when they showed it off at E3, clearly said in development with no release date. Now, I think we pretty much know that it's coming late 2017, but my initial reaction was like, wait a minute, this is their holiday ad. Their holiday ad. This is what they're trying to sell to consumers, is a game that's not even coming out for another year? I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, seeing like live action Spider-Man swinging through the street in that suit was pretty cool, but it just was like, wait a minute, like this game's not coming out for a whole year. Like, why are you advertising it now? But then the next thing I saw was Kratos with an axe, with the sun, you know, the Kratos from the new God of War throwing an axe at this like giant minotaur. I don't even know what the monster was, and I'm thinking, whoa, hold on one second here. This is God of War. This game's not even coming out in 2017. This game is a 2018 title, you know, at the earliest. And I'm like, they are selling, let me repeat, right? Let me get this through people's heads here. Sony released an ad for their holiday 2016 about why you should buy the PlayStation 4. And in this ad, they show off 4 games, essentially. One that's out now, which is the biggest game of the year, Call of Duty. One that doesn't come out until March of next year. And 2 other games that don't even have release dates, which one's going to be fall of 2017 and one's going to be early 2018. And I was just like, does anybody else see the hilarity in this, or like the desperation that Sony literally has no first-party games to advertise this holiday season, that they're actually reaching far down the road to try to sell you on the concept of their system? And then they you know, I get it, like it's not like a PSVR thing or a PS Pro was a PlayStation brand, but I thought that was so weird because you got Gravity Rush 2 that comes out. Well, I think that actually got delayed, but scratch that. You got Last Guardians coming out, like finally after 10 years, but all Last Guardian gets was like a little cameo of the bird thing in the back left corner of the scene at the end where there's a bunch of shit going on. And I'm like, okay, they must have really no faith in that game if they won't even show it off in their main feature. But this is what I wanted to more talk about, because I think this is what Sony versus Microsoft and how they're advertising things, right? How I thought that Microsoft's E3 press conference was really good, and Sony's was one of the worst I've ever seen. And I know before any PlayStation fans that follow me jump down my throat and say, whoa, what do you mean, Rand? It showed all these great games. But it's like, yeah, they showed some cool-looking stuff 3 years away. When is Kojima's game coming out? When's the Spider-Man game coming out? When's the God of War game? That other zombie game, Days Gone. They showed a bunch of games that have no release dates. In comparison to Microsoft, which everything they showed at E3 is all scheduled to come out before next year. And that is the difference right now between Microsoft and Sony. Sony is relying on consumer apathy and the greatness awaits tagline, like for the players. They're basically living off of the mistakes that Microsoft did to themselves on 2013, right? They're basically also just living off the fact that they have the most units, and because of the virtue of the fact that they have the most units, they probably sell the most software, so most developers are willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because the games usually sell the most there. But it's like, where are the rest of their games? And this ad highlighted that for me. Like, they don't have any faith in Last Guardian to even put it in the thing, and they're trying to sell to the holiday audience who watches this, on TV or whatever, that the reasons you should pick this up, this system up or invest in the PlayStation brand, is for a game coming out for Horizon Zero Dawn's coming out in basically March, so that's 5 months away, and then you got Spider-Man, which is a year away, and then you got God of War, which is even further after that. That's 2018. While on the flip side, Microsoft puts out an ad, which got a lot of people upset last month. Remember, because Microsoft's on a streak now. They've won 4 MPDs in a row. Things are looking better for them. People seem to like the Xbox One S. They like the exclusive that Microsoft's putting up. And this isn't about sales numbers or any of that bullshit. This is strictly about something being provided now versus something being provided at a later time. It's basically a promise. Microsoft shows off a video which was entitled like the best-selling console, and it gets so many fanboys, like self-professed fanboys, but then also neutral fanboys who say they have no or they don't engage in that stuff, but then get upset when anything like positive happens for Microsoft. I mean, you can clearly spot these people from a mile away. But so Microsoft, they show off this ad, and they're like, hey, we got Forza Horizon 3 available now. We got Gears 4 available now. We got Battlefield 1 available now. We have a 4K Blu-ray, a Blu-ray drive. You can play your 4K movies available now. All the things in these ads are like available immediately. And when you contrast and compare that to the PlayStation 4, not even the Pro or the Slim or any of that stuff, but when you contrast and compare it to that, it's literally now versus later. And some fanboys will be like, you know what, I'm fine with the later, I'm fine, because Days Gone's gonna be great because Sony doesn't make bad games, or Microsoft only makes bad games, which is a bunch of bullshit, because Gears 4 is a cool game. Forza Horizon 3 is the best racer of this gen. But it blows my mind that Sony can get away with basically not putting out any first-party games at all ever during the holiday release schedule. And I know Microsoft has gotten criticism, and I've criticized them too, because there are a lot of Xbox fans out there that don't particularly care for me either, because I will criticize Microsoft to the high heavens if there's something I don't like. For instance, Quantum Break, Scalebound. I was against the way Microsoft revealed Quantum Break, and it was basically didn't come out for 3 years. I was totally against that. I thought it kind of dampened the excitement out of the game. I hate this idea of showing games off 3-4 years before they're ready. That's why I thought Sony's press conference from last year, this past one, was terrible, because all these games are nowhere even close to being ready, and that's why I thought Microsoft's was great, because it provided a clear vision of what's going on. All these games are going to be available soon versus all these games are going to be available in 2 years. So yeah, I didn't like the fact that Quantum Break was basically teased for 3 years. We didn't get it until 2016 when it was revealed with the console in early 2013. I don't like the fact that Scalebound was unveiled in E3 2014, and we're not even getting it until sometime in 2017. I don't like that at all. I think the way you should unveil a game is similar to how Bethesda does it. Fallout 4 available in 6 months. Dishonored 2 or whatever available soon, or the way Microsoft did it with ReCore. Say what you will about whether the game was good or not, or whether it's sold or not. I preferred that style of, hey, ReCore, here's E3 2015, and then E3 2016, the game's coming out. Like, I preferred that 1 year kind of thing, because you're getting something, and you're getting it soon. Whether, I look at Kojima's game and it's like, is that even going to be on the PS4? Is it going to be out on the PS5? Nobody knows. And it's just, it's almost disingenuous. Like, I look at this and I'm just like, man, Sony gets a pass for a lot of things because they were the ones who are like, this is how you play games on PlayStation. And when Microsoft had the whole DRM stuff, so a lot of gamers out there, believe that they're for the players, in a hashtag that essentially was created by a corporation that they rallied behind. And the same thing with Greatness Awaits. Greatness Awaits, it's more like greatness delayed lately. And this is coming from someone who, I like Xbox quite a bit. I'm sure if you guys follow me on everywhere, Twitch, Twitter, podcast, I'm a very objective person. I don't like to. I will give Sony as much shit as I give Microsoft. So this isn't like, oh, an Xbox fanboy shitting on PlayStation. I just want to point out the hypocrisy here, because if Microsoft wasn't providing any games, it would be news. I remember reading when I remember there was an article not that long ago when Microsoft didn't have any games. People were like, is Microsoft leaving the gaming industry? But Sony not having any games for the holiday, it's just become accepted. It's just, oh, well, that's just Sony. They don't have any games for the holidays. So what does it matter? Because I guess it really doesn't, because multi-platform games matter these days. Obviously, that exclusives tend not to matter anymore, and I've said that countless times on TXR podcasts as well as other ones as well. And that's why, the first game they show in this PlayStation The King ad is a freaking ad for Call of Duty. Those sell. But I just wanted to point out, I am a fan of the way Microsoft is doing things, where their ad comes out. Their E3 press conferences, here are the games coming out now. Their holiday ad is for $400 or $300, whatever the price of the Xbox One is, you get this beautiful looking console, you get a 4K Blu-ray player, you get Forza Horizon, you get Gears, and you get Battlefield, and all these games available right now for you. When you take this home, you can play these games right now. But then Sony comes out and puts out a crappy looking live action thing, which isn't as good as their original Greatness Await one, right? And it's so you're watching it and it's okay, so I'm gonna get this PlayStation, and then you come home and you bring it home and it's where's Horizon Zero Dawn? It's not out yet. Where's Spider-Man? Not coming out for another year. Where's God of War? Not coming out for another 2 years. And it's that is bullshit to me, of the highest order. Come on now, the games you should be advertising and the feature sets you should be advertising on TV, on YouTube, and all that stuff are something that you should be able to pick up and grab immediately, not 1 year, not 2 years down the road, because it just, you basically, to me, what Sony's doing is basically they don't have any faith in their first party staple. If they're honestly advertising games 2 years away. Who knows if even God of War will even come out in 2018. Maybe it's a 2019 game. That's kind of pathetic, because what's stopping Microsoft or any Nintendo from why couldn't Microsoft had an ad this year where it was just Halo 6, tease Halo 6, tease Gears of War 5. What if they had a holiday ad that was just Halo Wars 2, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, and a few other games that were coming out next year? People would be like, well, that's bullshit. And it is. It's bullshit. But that's how I kind of view this Microsoft versus Sony thing and the ad stuff. So if you like the video, guys, please give it a thumbing. And if you want to see more content from me, hit the sub button. Later.